Play the scary shit you wanna play. It's cool. I'ma be back though.
My fault, Kenzo. My fault, Kenzo. I'm gonna see you in a little bit, bro. This video was 44 minutes and 3 seconds. Let me see, what video did you recommend?
Just let me know.
Yeah, I did see. I mean, I'm pretty, like, I've seen multiple things about this. I don't know if I've seen this exact video, but I've seen multiple things about this incident. Malaysian flight. Shout out nowhere.
Today's video is sponsored by MyHeritage. As it's obvious by now, I have always had a fascination with researching various things. It's a habit that has followed me around my entire life and hasn't slowed down as I've become an adult. Which is why MyHeritage is something that appealed to me from the start. MyHeritage.
Oh my gosh. Yo, Out of Doom, nigga, fuck.
Marriage, kids, all of it pretty much mapped out. And maybe for some of you, your life has so far gone according to your plans. But that doesn't always mean that it's certain. All it takes is
like once.
Yo, thank you for them bits, Pancake. I appreciate you a lot. Thank
one
you,
wrong
thank you,
moment for your life to go completely off rails. One driver looking at their phone instead of the road. One breath.
That's how easy it is for life to just flip upside down like that, bro. Shit is too fucking sad.
That pulls a deadly germ into your lungs. A tree limb that breaks at...
But nigga, damn, is that hard to get your remarks in our garage? Yo, you're mad funny. You're mad funny because this nigga Bittersweet is hilarious, bro. He went back into that chopped ass message and fixed his spelling mistakes. Now let me read this. That's not true at all. Nigga, Gabe be spamming the chat sometimes because I don't read his messages just because, like, I just don't see him. That's not true. Bro, you have not been getting ignored. I hate your fucking stream. It's so laggy. That's your fucking Wi-Fi. Matter of fact, give me a sec. Bittersweet, you're gonna have to make it this track. Nigga said Bittersweet gonna have to make it this track. I've did it 30 plus times at least. Did what 30 plus times? She don't speak German. Think I give a fuck? She's still gonna take that German ass message.
As you pass underneath it, random chances happen to people every day. You can't think about these kinds of things all the time, of course, cause, well, you'd go insane. But then you hear a story like Todd Gibbs, and you think about them a little bit more. By all accounts...
Now I searched up, this is what I said. Suck my dick, pussy-o, in German. My sister's FaceTiming me and going through my fucking room right now. I'm gonna lose my shit. Why is she going through your room on FaceTime with you? What the hell? Ask her, let's just stop ignoring me, etc. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, it's because your fucking dark ass username you blended in with the chat, bro. But I mean, that's not why, but like, Nigga, bro, some shit I just be reading in my head and I be responding in my head. But it's just some shit is just like, hold on, let me see. Give me a sec. Trying to find a moment where you said read my message. Cause I know it does happen. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it doesn't happen. No, it happens, but I'm trying to find an example. Okay. Bro, I don't even be ignoring your messages, nigga. You said sexy red should never change your hair color. And I responded to that. You said, are we watching this whole interview? I said, no. I be reading your messages, bro. Devil, why the fuck are you red? Yo, y'all niggas need to stop changing y'all colors, but that shit too ugly.
Todd was a pretty ordinary guy from an outside perspective. In June of 2005, he was 22 years old, and he had a good job.
But I understand what you're saying, Bittersweet. I understand.
Wyoming, Michigan. 22 years old, and he had a good job working for a lumber distributor in Wyoming, Michigan. He was part of a close-knit, loving family, an avid outdoorsman, and he liked to party. Sometimes a little too hard.
Can you lower Tia's timeout? You don't even need to refund for her. I think I redeemed it 7 times. Other people redeemed it too, bro. A lot of other people. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8. I think.
Outdoorsman, and he liked to party. Sometimes a little too hard, but then again, what 22-year-old doesn't?
Do I lower it or no? I mean, are the channel point redemptions still there to get refunded, or did niggas confirm the redemptions? Because if niggas confirm the redemptions, then I don't know if niggas get refund for real. But I mean, y'all let me know. I'm on phone, I know, but Moody sometimes confirms. Nigga, T is on your account? Oh, hell no. Yo. So you niggas is tweaking.
Most around him figured that he would eventually, what 22-year-old doesn't? Most times a little too hard, outdoorsman, and he liked to party. Sometimes a little too hard, but then again, what 22-year-old doesn't? Most around him figured that he would eventually grow out of it with time. Except he wouldn't. On Saturday, June 11th, 2005, at 7:30 p.m., Todd left the apartment he shared with his cousin at 291 Moon Court to meet up with some friends at the Half Moon Bar and Grill in the little village of Cosnovia, Michigan.
Okay.
Cosnovia is a tiny place with only about 300 residents.
Nigga, Devil, is T on your account? Why is niggas getting timed out left and right? Why is T on your account? Yo, to the mods, don't touch points. Don't touch points. Like, don't touch the, like, reward, redemption, cute thingy. Because that shit done got too tricky. It's two niggas redeeming shit all at once. Why the hell is Tia on your shit right now?
And from what I found, Casnovia is a tiny place with only about 300 residents, and from what I found online, the Half Moon is still around today, and it's a popular place for people to stop in for a beer while they're tooling around on their snowmobiles in the winter. But that night, the bar was free of snow, a place to meet friends and grab a few drinks before heading out to keep the good times rolling. Around 9:30, Todd and his friends left for their next destination, a keg party in an apple orchard off White Road. The orchard was just a mile and a half from Todd's apartment, and the party promised to run all night long.
All night long?
What happened next is a bit of a blur.
What is this?
45 minutes after midnight on June 12th.
Just a little creepy, not creepy video, just a little chilling cases shrouded in mystery.
A fight.
She's been having my shit. She was just too lazy to log in. He's finna switch accounts for a stream. Oh fuck no. And y'all weren't gonna tell me, huh? It was just gonna be Devil acting autistic and Tia acting normal.
Broke out, and it looked like the party was about to turn into a full-scale brawl. Fighting while drunk with a bunch of other drunk people wasn't Todd's idea of fun, so he walked away from the orchard and pulled out his cell phone to call his friend who had dropped him off. For some reason, his friend didn't pick up, so Todd left a message saying that he was walking back to his apartment. It shouldn't have taken more than a brawl.
Whoa. Said he started fighting?
But around 45 minutes after midnight on June 12th, a fight broke out, and it looked like the party was about to turn into a full-scale brawl. Fighting while drunk with a bunch of other drunk people wasn't Todd's idea of fun, so he walked away from the orchard and pulled out his cell phone to call his friend who had dropped him off. For some reason, his friend didn't pick up, so Todd left a message saying that he was walking back to his apartment. It shouldn't have taken more than half an hour to get there, but somehow, Todd never made it. Between 12:47 a.m. and 12:57 a.m., Todd made a series of phone calls that can only be described as strange. At one point, he called a friend and said only, "I've had enough." Another call had him saying nothing other than, "I'm in a field," before he was cut off.
Oh, hell no.
That friend called him back, but all she heard when the call picked up was a sound she described as either heavy breathing or the rushing of wind past the phone's microphone. Then, the call cut off. If you can't remember the mid-2000s, just know that cell phones at the time were about half the size of a brick, and the audio quality was poor enough that people who wanted to end conversations used to actually blow into the audio pickup to imitate static and then hang up. The noise on Todd's phone could have been just about anything, including the sound of the phone being drunkenly dropped on the ground, or being tossed around Todd's pocket. Or Todd himself could have been holding it while walking and not even realize that he was still on a call. When Todd didn't make it home, he was reported missing, and in small-town Michigan, a missing person is a big event. More than 1,500 police and civilian volunteers joined in the search for Todd, along with at least one aircraft. They combed through every inch of the orchard and the land around it, including the—
And they still couldn't find him, but I don't understand. I don't understand how, and I never will understand how niggas just disappear in broad daylight. How the fuck do you just disappear like that, bro? Restrict devil this instant. Why?
Searched the area of the party three separate times, and
restrict devil this instant.
3 weeks later, on July 2nd, 2005, a couple found Todd's body floating in Ovid Hall Lake, 2 miles from his apartment.
Rest in peace.
Right in the middle of the search zone. He was near the intersection of—
If it was right in the middle of the search zone, how did they never find his fucking body when they were searching for it? Nigga, they said they used it with an aircraft and a bunch of on-foot people?
Peters and White Road, and he was floating upright, as if he had been standing in the water, with one arm actually resting on the surface and his head resting on his arm.
What the fuck? This nigga fell asleep in the water, bro. He just fell asleep in the water. So you're telling me they found him upright, head resting on his fucking hand? Nigga, I be falling asleep like this sometimes.
In case you
Because you dingbat, Tia is bypassing her timeout that niggas put points towards. That's not fair, and now she has access to a mod account. Unamused face.
Bro, Tia for mod. And GT fucking A. Fuck all that. Yeah, Tia, bro. Tia with mod. Alright, bro. If I unmod this nigga devil, any mod that touches, whether it be a timeout or a ban, gets stripped. I'm gonna unmod him, and I'm gonna restrict that account. If you touch it, whether it be a timeout or a ban, you're getting stripped. You're getting stripped. You're just gonna get restricted. That's all. No, but I don't wanna. Hold on. Before I touch that. Give me a sec. Okay. Before you unmod, when people was spam timing me out last time, how I only got restricted instead of timed. What? When people was spam timing me out last time, how I only got restricted instead of timed. What are you talking about? My English, you know it's bad? Bro. What the hell are you talking about? Like, what does that even mean? When people was spam timing me out last time, how I only got restricted instead of timed? People was spam timing me out last time, and instead of timing me out, I got restricted. There was definitely a reasoning behind that. I don't fucking know. To put it in retarded terms, last time I was gonna get timed out. I got restricted instead. But I don't know what the fucking circumstances were to that situation or that time, but clearly there was something different. I don't even want to unmod this nigga for real, but bruh, they bring a good point. I started a timeout by having a double listen my base. Yeah, you're a bot, bro. You started a timeout train on yourself. Like, that's literally your fault. I don't know what the fuck you did that dumbass shit for. You thought you were such a prankster, timing yourself out. Now look, you timed out for 300 fucking hours. Tia. 2. Sick. You had an hour left on your timeout, Tia.
You are not aware, most corpses found in water are not found floating completely upright. Anyone who has ever tried to keep their face out of the water in a swimming pool knows that the human body prefers to float horizontally, either face up or face
W
down.
Ping Bear.
But the strangeness of Todd's body didn't end with its position. Todd was fully dressed, with his wallet still in his pocket, almost as if he just hopped into the lake for a swim without being bothered to take off his clothes first. In fact, a police officer actually told Todd's mother at first that this was exactly what had happened, and that Todd had drowned while swimming. But when an autopsy was conducted, no water was found in Todd's lungs. There were no external injuries to suggest Todd had been attacked or
So no water found in the lungs and no external injuries. Interesting.
or had fallen or had even hit his head. His blood alcohol was listed as 0.12, which is definitely drunk enough to fall in a lake, but not drunk enough to drown without inhaling any water. Even so, Todd's death
Yeah, how the fuck you drown out inhaling any water?
was ruled an accidental drowning due to alcohol intoxication. For a few years, the case simply remained this way, figuring that a man who was drunk drowned in a lake. However, in 2009,
Free Plugg is kind of hard. No. Say one word I know. That's a white top, buddy. I'm trying to put it in. Spin it back for Plugg. Nigga says spin it back for Plugg.
a New York forensic pathologist named Dr. Michael Sikorica presented the photos of the crime scene at a conference where he and other forensic pathologists agreed that Todd could not have been dead and in the water for more than 2 to 3 days before he was found. That leaves 18 days unaccounted for.
Damn.
I do need to mention something about Dr. Sikorica. While he is a board-certified forensic pathologist, he's also got some very unusual marks on his record. One of the top results for him on Google is an appearance on the paranormal radio show Coast to Coast AM, and another is an article in a local newspaper about his refusal to get vaccinated during the pandemic. While he might hold some unusual beliefs for a scientist and a public servant, the thing that bothers me is that every account that I could find on his conference presentation neglected to name any other pathologist who agreed with him. So this piece of Todd's story may be on shaky ground. However, Dr. Sikorica isn't the only source on the time gap. In 2019, a film crew from the Oxygen Network interviewed Eric Benbow, a forensic entomologist with Michigan State University, for a TV episode about Todd's case. The crew conducted a series of experiments in which they placed dead pigs wearing clothing similar to Todd's in the exact same lake. Within days, damselflies and other aquatic insects had colonized in the dead pigs, laid eggs, and began breaking down the bodies. Also,
but that wasn't there for the body, huh?
Interesting. Quickly formed over the dead pigs too. In contrast, Todd's body had very little algae on it and no meaningful signs of any insect activity. Unless there was some type of magical force that kept insects and algae away from Todd while he was in the lake, it can safely be assumed that Todd's body wasn't in the water for the full 3 weeks.
It was placed there, huh?
Missing and the time his body was discovered. Damn. So, what exactly happened to him then? According to Michigan authorities, the death of Todd Geib comes down to 2 factors: alcohol and water. They say there is no reason to believe that anything happened more sinister than a 22-year-old man getting drunk and stumbling into a lake. Todd's mother, however, has kept the case alive, and there's even a Change.org petition to have it reopened. And it's not just Todd's case that
Vaxical 2K, you literally just ignoring the fact that Tia basically has modern, she's bypassing her timeout. Tragic that you cherry pick who to actually punish. Dog.
Nigga, that's not cherry picking, bro. Why the fuck should Devil get punished just because T is on his account? Like, there's no use in punishing 2 niggas at one time. Bro's clearly too slow to notice. I bet. Say that.
Todd's case that has been bizarre. His afterlife has also been a strange one. The death of Todd Geib has become something of a magnet for conspiracy theorists. The most prominent explanation is the smiley face killer's theory. According to this explanation, promoted by a couple of retired New York City detectives, Todd Geib has become something of a magnet for conspiracy theorists. The most prominent explanation is the smiley face killer's theory. According to this explanation, promoted by a couple of retired New York City detectives, there are connections between the drowning deaths of more than 80 people, mostly across the Midwest. Most of the victims were young men who disappeared after a night of drinking and were found in bodies of water. In many of these cases, the investigators found smiley face graffiti near the places where the bodies were found.
Was there smiley face graffiti near the fucking lake?
The water. This is the theory that got Dr. Sikorica on Coast to Coast AM. And it's the theory that got the Oxygen Network interested enough in Todd's case to make an episode on it. Personally, I have my own feelings on the whole smiley face killer theory, and not just with Todd's case. I've come across it in cases that I both covered and simply just heard. And while I understand that some people want to find a conclusion to a case like this, I don't see where it adds up. I've come across numerous cases about the smiley face killer where one person who had died versus this case had nothing to do with each other. In some cases I've come across, they weren't even in or near a body of water, and it was questionable if there was even actually smiley face graffiti at the scene. Which leads me to my own problem with that whole theory, being that out of all of the cases I've heard with this supposed smiley face killer, I've only ever seen 3 or 4 pictures of the actual so-called graffiti of the smiley face. Every other case that I've heard that theory mentioned, I've never seen any picture of this so-called smiley face graffiti being the so-called call mark of the so-called killer. So for me, obviously, I take the smiley face killer theory with a lot of skepticism. And it could simply be what the Michigan State Police think it is: a drunk young man wandering around by himself near water. The fact of the matter is, drunk young men wandering around by themselves near water can drown pretty easily without encountering any kind of serial killer.
Rest in peace,
In
bro.
fact, according to the CDC, about 4,000
this really is some Tia shit.
people drown accidentally in the United States every year. That's about 11 per day on average.
Yo, hater, didn't you say you was eating, bro? What were you eating?
Nearly 80% of those victims are male and among teenagers and adults, and alcohol is associated with about 70% of drowning deaths and drowning-related emergency room visits. As for the graffiti, smiley faces are one of the easiest and most common symbols people draw when you hand them a pen or a spray can. If you go to an area that is covered with graffiti, you will probably find a smiley face somewhere in there. And human brains are wired to look for faces, so much so that we can easily make ourselves see faces in electrical outlets or burnt toast. And
I be seeing faces in a lot of things, bro. I remember one time. This was when I was little, bro. I was just biking down the street one day, and I looked up at like a building, and I swear, like I saw like, I don't know, bro. It was just the way the building was, like the window placement, all that. I swear that shit made a face. That shit was too weird.
This is my last bit. VROEL, can you untime out Tia please? I regret doing the timeouts. I did it twice on this account, and 5 times on the other. Don't even need to refund me for real.
Man, what the hell? Bro. Yeah, I'm just refunding. Okay. Okay. On timeout. Tia. Too sick. Okay. Y'all are refunded, bro.
And even on the surface of Mars. If you are looking for something that looks like a face, odds are that you're probably going to find it. But that doesn't mean that the face is actually there.
Bro, she's been had access to his account. It's not like she just got access to it, bro. She's been had access.
And it certainly doesn't mean that it was left behind by a serial killer. Fortunately, there are other theories that exist. Fans of David Paulide's Missing 411 series have suggested that Todd's disappearance and death may be connected to the disappearances recounted in Paulide's book. There are even internet users who connect what happened to Todd to old folklore about people being taken away by fairies. but
Aries.
somewhat obviously,
Fuck.
none of it is exceptionally convincing.
Man, grown ass nigga got kidnapped by fucking Tinkerbell.
When it comes to boiling down the facts, it's hard to drown without any water in your lungs. Serial killers usually leave marks on a body. And as for the other theories, aliens, fairies, Bigfoot, you can choose the explanation that you would like, none of them are more likely than any of the others. And that's the problem. Something did in fact
Free pussy. Yo.
happen to Todd Geib in Michigan in 2005. And yet, we still don't know what it was, which means that we don't know how to prevent it, if at all, from happening to someone else.
Chilling cases shrouded in mystery, Vic.
So, a quick note here before I tell this story. There are several parts to this case that are still developing, and I could honestly make an entire video on Lori Vallow alone. But the amount of information on this case is exhausting. But if enough people are interested, then I have no issue really diving deep into her story. But for time's sake and the other topics with this video, I will only be discussing major points to this case's timeline. I just wanted to let everyone know because the format for this story will be different from my normal videos.
Fuck does that mean?
What is it about the end of the world? It's a strange obsession, but an incredibly popular one. You wouldn't think people would actually be excited about it. After all, there aren't a lot of happy beliefs about the apocalypse. Most people who think they know how the world is going to end will tell you tales of fire and blood. Yet, every year, thousands of people in the United States alone take part in groups or movements preparing for the end of the world as they know it. Some of them stockpile food,
Big definitely one of these people.
build underground bunkers, load up on ammunition or solar panels, while others pray or give away all of their worldly possessions. And then there's Lori Vallow Daybell.
Fuck she do?
Lori Vallow Daybell was born Lori Noreen Cox in 1973 in
Nor
Loma
going on Nicki
Linda.
Minaj laser hands. Huh?
Yo. Yo, what? Yo!
Nigga, is this a meat riding competition?
My sister, she's just talking. I had to like mute for that.
Run a poll, bro. Who won, bro? Nick?
What's even going on, bro? So I got seen Nor in that same shirt. Yo. Or does he require the most shit? I don't fucking know. Yo, I'm about to ban everybody, bro. English only in this fucking chat.
California. At age 19, she married her high school boyfriend, but the marriage ended in divorce soon after. In 1990,
Married your high school boyfriend only for it to end in divorce. Tragic. Tragic.
she married again, but divorced her second husband a year later.
She's the fucking problem.
She married her third husband, a man named Joseph Ryan, in 2001, and this marriage lasted all the way until 2004 before the couple broke up. They had a daughter together, and her name...
Tragic. It's her fault. She's the fucking issue.
I am going to buy a crochet needle for my dreads. Should I combine some or just make them tighter? Okay, just answer then I'ma leave again.
It really depends, to be honest.
Thank you for the follow, Monica.
Yo, feeding it for you. Thank you for that follow. I really appreciate you. Bro, there's just a lady that, like, I guess she takes the end of the world too seriously. We don't know too much information yet. But she's just a fucking little dirty whore that keeps getting remarried and divorcing and remarried and divorcing and remarried and divorcing.
Was Tylee. In 2005, Lori married her fourth husband, a businessman named Charles Vallow. She brought Tylee with her.
I'm not reposting it so you can read it, just fixing my spelling. No, bro, no. I reread it the first time, but wow, no, I read it in my head. Oh, I can pronounce Spanish, wow, but I can't understand or speak it. Fourth, oh my. Yeah, she's really just like Vic. Like, just like
marriage, Vic. And Charles brought both of his children from his own previous relationship. Charles was a lifelong Catholic, but he converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
What's wrong with being a lifelong Catholic? Vic? At least he stuck to... Like, what's wrong with just sticking to his religion? I could teach you Arabic. Hey, you're sideline, Brody, but hey, he stuck to his religion, lifelong Catholic. What's wrong with that?
Saints for Lori, but he converted to the Church of Jesus Christ
of
of Latter-day Saints for Lori.
Never fucking mind. Converted for this little, ooh, you know what she is.
In 2014, the couple adopted Charles' great-nephew, an autistic boy named Joshua.
My nigga Gabe, yes sir.
The family, and eventually the world, would know the boy as JJ.
Listen to Great Chaos, that shit leaked fully. How did it fully leak? Where? I could really just wait till Friday, bro. It's
Lori
not that
had
deep.
an intense relationship with her religious beliefs. She was a devoted Mormon who attended temple services regularly.
Did it actually fully leak?
iCloud folders filled with religious materials. It was those beliefs that would eventually lead her to cross paths.
Just call me
with
autistic?
Chad
No,
Daybell
bro.
Of Rexburg, Idaho.
What the fuck is this?
To cross
I have a question asking. I should ask you privately. Okay, go ahead, ask me. Someone sold it and the person they sold it to just put it on Twitter? Damn, are you for real? Wait, send me a link.
VROEL, who are you giving Arabic lessons to? Raised eyebrow.
Myself, for real.
Paths with Chad Daybell of Rexburg, Idaho. Chad was the author of more than 24 self-published books of apocalyptic fiction from a Mormon perspective. He wrote a series of...
Are you in that Grail server where they leaked all of the lights by Uzi? And Justin Bieber by Uzi and Cardi? Which one?
Oh. So I see we're lying again. Okay, Peter. Roll 2 side eye. Yo Peter 98K, should I join an Arabic speech comp to
Yo,
win
Vic,
like 50
this is an
bucks?
insane fucking question. Yes, join that competition. Get that $50, my boy. I don't know. I just know someone in it. I think I might be in a server similar to that. Vic, that is an insane fucking question. I don't even know how to answer that. It's not even insane. No, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that question.
Chad was the author of...
I would not do it. Like, wait, you would not do what? You would keep it? Or no? I wouldn't keep. Type shit. At the end of the day, it's... Never mind. I'm not even going to talk about this on stream because this shit too controversial.
And 24 self-published books of apocalyptic fiction from a Mormon perspective. He wrote a series called Standing in Holy Places about Mormons facing temptation and doubt as the signs of the end of the world accumulate around them. His website, which is still up to this day, describes the last book in the series as a novel that paints a vivid picture of exciting prophesized events that still must occur before the second coming. If you have an interest in what awaits the members of the LDS Church, this series should definitely be on your reading list. You might think of his work as the LDS version of the Left Behind books from the early 2000s. Lori happened to love Standing in Holy Places, and in 2018 she managed to actually meet Chad at a conference for a group called Preparing a People. The conference was about, well, preparing for the end of the world, and the two almost immediately began having an affair, claiming that they had been married in a past life.
Women. I'll be fucking damned.
They meet Chad at a conference for a group. 2018, she managed to actually meet Chad at a conference for a group called Preparing a People. The conference was about, well, preparing for the end of the world, and the two almost immediately began having an affair.
Like, bro, you can't tell me this bitch not the fucking issue. It's her fourth marriage, and then she's gonna have an affair? Have fun with the fifth one, you fucking retard. What? Bro, this bitch damn near 5 fucking marriages? Hello? There's too many branches? Vic, that's a whole different, like, separate thing, bro. Yo, you're a bot.
Claiming that they had been married in a past life. Chad claimed that he had visions of future events, and at some point in the late 2010s, he began telling people that he had a vision that his wife, Tammy, would soon die. Lori and Chad began appearing on religious podcasts together. They talked about what they called zombies, who were people who had died and had their souls replaced with dark spirits. The only way to expel these dark spirits was to bind them and burn their body that they were inhabiting. And around the same time, Lori began to refer to her husband Charles as a demon. In 2019, Charles decided that he had had enough. He filed for divorce and requested a protection order against Lori. He said In 2019, Charles decided that he had had enough. He filed for divorce and requested a protection order against Lori. He said that she had threatened to murder him and have an angel help her dispose of it.
5 way too much. Who the fuck would want to even date her for real if they told him that she's obviously a problem? I don't even know if that was the topic. I'm seeing my snacks now. You're good, bro. Bro, I wouldn't like, bro. Yo. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Like, bro, I could have a perfect, extravagant date planned out with somebody. Just let me find out they have 5 fucking divorces. Or, sorry, 4 divorces. Well, I mean, her current husband, that's her 4th marriage. But she's having an affair on this nigga, so it's going to be 4 divorces soon. So 4 divorces? I wouldn't even look in your general direction. You're the issue. There's nothing in this world that can convince me that you're not the issue. And if you're not the issue, then your taste in fucking people is the issue. Cause how?
His body. He told the court that
How
he
does that
feared for
even,
his
like,
life and
come
the
to happen,
lives
bro?
of their children. The couple
What?
separated and Lori took the kids to live in a house in Chandler, Arizona. A few months later, on July 11th in 2019,
I forgot
Charles
to
went
say
the
why
house
is
to
Nor
pick
everywhere
JJ up for
early, and
school.
I was on VC with Duke and some other people, and Nor automatically just showed up.
Nor just appears places, man. I don't know what the fuck to say to
Months
that.
later, on July 11th in 2019, Charles went to the house to pick JJ up for school, and instead he was shot dead by Lori's brother, Alex Cox.
What? He went to go pick his fucking kids up and he got shot.
Alex claimed that Lori and Charles had gotten into a fight, and that Charles had hit him on the back of the head with a baseball bat, and that he had only shot Charles to protect Lori. Lori and Tylee backed up his story. 2 months later, in September of 2019, Lori packed up the kids, and months later in Lori and Tylee backed up his story.
Damn.
2 months later, in September of 2019, Lori packed up the kids and everything else and moved to an apartment in Rexburg, Idaho. Alex rented an apartment in the same complex. Shortly after they had arrived, the family took a trip to Yellowstone National Park. A photograph was taken that day, and it was dated September 8th, and it shows Tylee holding JJ, while Alex is seen in the background. The picture on screen right now shows 16-year-old Tylee holding JJ, and sadly, it would be the last time Tylee would ever be seen alive again.
The fuck?
What's concerning is that very shortly before this trip to Yellowstone took place, Lori told one of her friends, a woman by the name of Melanie Gibb, that Tylee had become a zombie.
Oh my, she's gonna kill the fucking daughter? Are you serious? Nor extreme riding warning.
So, Plugg Max at October 12th going into 13th, 1:09 a.m. has been the perfect day of my life.
What?
Plugg Max at October 12th going into 13th, 1:09 a.m. has been the perfect day of my life.
What does this even mean, bro? Who was killing the daughter, the man, and the woman? We're about to find out. Probably both. But either way, what the fuck does that even mean? What is he... Bro, what is he talking about? It's true though, Max changed his life for the better. Well, obviously he did, but no, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He said, hold on.
So, Plugg Max at October 12th going into 13th, 1:09 a.m. has been the perfect day of my life.
Is he talking about last year? Or is he like, what is he talking about? Well, he's not talking about last year. That's when he met Max, like, over at that time. Oh, and like the call actually happened. Yeah, cause, yeah. He got the exact time. That's crazy.
Is the proper way to dispose of a zombie. We can only imagine the things that Tylee was about to experience. The day after that photo was taken, Alex's cell phone GPS put him in Chad's backyard for an entire 2 hours. That same day, Chad texted his wife Tammy saying, "I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along it. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery." As cryptic and frankly creepy as that text sounds, this case gets even more bizarre. About 2 weeks later, on September 22nd, the last known photo of JJ was taken. He was 7 years old when he vanished.
Oh my
Melanie
gosh.
and her boyfriend were actually visiting Lori and her family at the time.
This is
Melanie
too confusing. What the fuck is going on?
later said that she saw Alex carrying JJ out of the apartment. Disturbingly, shortly after this, Lori informed Melanie that JJ had as well become a zombie. I can only imagine the thoughts that run through Melanie's head now, looking back at that scene and knowing what was to become of both Tylee and JJ. The next day, Alex's cell phone returned to Chad's backyard, but it only stayed there for about 17 minutes. Fast forwarding a backyard, but the next day, Alex's cell phone returned to Chad's backyard, but it only stayed there for about 17 minutes.
So this shit's confusing,
Fast forwarding
bro.
a month later to October 19th of 2019, Tammy Daybell, Chad's wife, was found dead in her bed of what was believed to be natural causes.
What the
Chad
fuck?
and his children declined an autopsy, saying that Tammy had been in poor health leading up to her death, and that she had gone to bed with a cough and simply never woke up. 2 weeks later, Lori and Chad got married on a beach in Hawaii. But by the end of that month, JJ's grandmother had requested a welfare check on JJ. And it was at this point that investigators realized that both JJ and Tyler were missing and had been for well over a month.
These niggas done killed their significant others to get married to each other? Is that what the fuck just happened?
And they launched a nationwide search for the two children. About a month later, in December of 2019, authorities decided to act on their suspicions about Tammy's supposed natural death, and they exhumed her body. Shortly after, on January 25th of 2020, Lori was served with a court order requiring her to produce the missing children. When she didn't, she was arrested on February 20th. For the next few months, seemingly nothing happened and dead ends were met with almost every turn. But on June 9th of 2020, authorities dug up Chad Daybell's backyard, and what they found were the remains of JJ, wrapped in duct tape in a black trash bag,
Damn,
buried
bruh.
under the shade of the tree in the backyard.
What the fuck?
They found some of Tylee's remains about 50 yards away in the family pet cemetery, exactly where Chad had said that he buried the supposed raccoon. Other parts of Tylee.
Bruh. Did Plugg tell you? The Great Chaos just leaked? I know. Someone came in here and told me. But I don't know if I want to spoil it. Like I want to listen to it on the actual drop day. That's tragic. New paddock hopping the V. That's automatic. Salmon at least I'm a fold. They're doing an eye job at containing it. I already heard most of the album off speakers. Nigga said off speakers. Damn, no way the album got leaked. Nigga finna have to drop Monday. Nigga say you gonna have to drop Monday. Bro, what you mean they doing an eye job at containing it? How are they containing it? What are they doing?
Were found in a fire pit. And if it's not obvious enough, no raccoon was ever found. So it goes without saying that Chad's text that he had shot a raccoon, looking back on it in hindsight, he was referring to Tylee.
That's
In May of
fucked up, bro.
2021, almost a full year later, Chad and Lori were both charged with the children's deaths, and Chad was charged with Tammy's as well, due to her autopsy showing that she had been asphyxiated. 2 years later, in
Yeah, shit this year, your shit finna just get leaked. If you lie about dropping. It's not even, bro, you can tell the truth about dropping, your shit still finna get leaked. This isn't anything music, but look at this shit. Basically, every track on Ken Carson's A Great Chaos just leaked on a Discord server. Playboy Cardi's label is cooked. Jennifer's body service line. Overtime service line. Stuck with service line. God damn. Lose that service line. Pasta service line. Find my demon service line. Bro, this album is finished. What the fuck? Oh my god. And these weird ass niggas gonna say deserved. Y'all niggas couldn't wait 4 days? Y'all couldn't wait 4 fucking days, bruh.
May of this year, after several delays caused by questions about her mental health, Lori was convicted on all counts, including conspiracy to commit Tammy's murder. On July 31st, 2023, she was sentenced to multiple fixed life terms. The judge made a point of setting her sentences to run consecutively, saying that it was important for her to be punished for each individual death. At that sentencing hearing, Lori actually claimed that her victims had visited her in spirit form and said that Tylee was happy and free now, and that JJ visited her in another form as an adult who was tall and thriving. You can take that however you will. The judge during the trial, Stephen
apparently it was too scary they couldn't even release the game. What the fuck?
Boyce,
what was that shit called?
Was however you will. The judge during the trial, Stephen Boyce, was completely unmoved, and he told Lori, "You chose the most evil and destructive path possible, a path that no parent, no mother should ever choose, and I have zero sympathy."
Yo, how do niggas get leaked so easily, bro? Like, how is that, bro, how is that even possible? Like, is it niggas that they trust leaking they shit? They downloaded the JoJo virus. They go to the prod studios. And then what? Like, so niggas went to Ken's producer's studio.
For you. As of the writing of this video, no trial date for Chad Daybell has been set. It's honestly impossible to say exactly what was going through Lori's mind as she helped to end both of her children's lives. We may never know precisely.
Yeah, killing both of their fucking children's lives is wicked, bro. It's called. I don't remember too much about it, but there's a bunch of cases right here. Too. Stop playing Phasmophobia. Yeah, if I can get a proper squad. What's good, Coral? They don't always go to the studio. Sometimes they just hack it. I don't know how. That's too tragic.
Precisely what happened, especially since Alex died from a blood clot in his lungs in the middle of the investigation. But out of the mountains of testimony and timelines in this case, one thing seems to be clear. Whether they believed in Chad and Lori's apocalypse or not, Charles, Tammy, Tylee, and JJ found their worlds coming to an end in an unexpected and bloody fashion.
Well, we can get a PC, we can play in a year's time. Get that PC, bro. El Dorado Shane Doe.
The Whitehall Motel was a shabby strip of rooms by the side
Yo, my spidey senses too crazy.
of the road in El Dorado, Arkansas. It was the quote-unquote bad side of town, according to the people who lived in the city at the time. The kind of place where you would have trouble sleeping because of the shouts, groans, and occasional screams coming through the paper-thin walls. And on the night of July 10th, there would be more than just screams. That evening, a small blonde woman arrived at the room of a small-time pimp named James McAlphin. The two had been a couple for over a year, even though the woman had frequently found herself in the local emergency room with injuries she said were McAlphin's work. In July of 1990, even though the woman had frequently found herself in the local emergency room with injuries she said were McAlphin's work. In July of 1991, she had finally left both him and the Whitehall Motel and moved in with a friend. McAlphin had threatened her repeatedly, But after a month apart, she was back with the promise of money. And as the door closed to McAlpin's apartment, moments later, something would happen that would trigger events that would be felt still to this day
Oh,
in
shit.
the area. Roy Charles Menon lived in the room next to McAlpin. Hearing voices next door, he strolled over to ask McAlpin to return some cassette tapes that he had borrowed. The blonde woman told Menon to talk to McAlpin, and then she tried to leave under the cover of their conversation. She made it as far as
Yo, Drunken Edits, thank you so much for that follow. I really appreciate you.
before McAlpin stormed of their conversation. She made it as far as the parking lot before McAlpin stormed out after her, grabbed her, and hit her in the face.
Damn.
Menon left in a hurry, back to his own room, and he heard the woman and McAlpin arguing. And then he heard a gunshot. McAlpin ran out of the motel, got into his vehicle.
Bye, bro. You leaving, Nicole? Stay safe, stay safe. See you rollers in 4 days. You about to go. Where the hell are you, bro? Where the hell are you going for 4 days? You okay?
And sped off. This wasn't exactly a case for McAlpin ran out of the motel, got into his vehicle, and sped off. This wasn't exactly a case for Sherlock Holmes. Police found the woman dead on the floor from a gunshot wound.
I got some scary shit. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? I told you Minnesota? Bro, you are not coming to no fucking Minnesota.
And they arrested McAlpin pretty quickly, charging him with first-degree murder and second-degree battery. McAlpin insisted that he hadn't killed the woman, and that he'd only hit her, and that she actually shot herself. He also insisted that he'd identify the dead woman, but only if the police did him a favor. Unsurprisingly, the police declined. After all, how hard could it be to identify one person? The woman's purse contained a social security card and an ID card.
Wait, so what did he ask?
Insisted that he'd identify the dead woman, but only if the police did him a favor.
What was the favor?
Unsurprisingly, the police declined. After all, how hard could it be to identify one person? The woman's purse contained a social security card and an ID card under the name Cheryl Ann Wick. The photo matched the woman on the motel floor, and after some painstaking research, the cops traced Cheryl back to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where her parents still lived. They called the Wick family to give them the bad news. Cheryl's younger sister was sobbing as she picked up the phone and made her own phone call to the last number that she had for Cheryl. It's not clear why. Maybe she had hoped to hear Cheryl's voice on her answering machine.
Damn, that's
one
sad.
last time. But
Have you seen
something
Other Side of the
happened
Box? I
that
don't think
nobody
so.
expected. Cheryl picked up the phone.
What the fuck?
To quote Cheryl, "My sister lived at home and she called me crying," Cheryl told the Huffington Post years later. The police told my parents
So she had somebody else's identification on her.
that I had gotten murdered,
Interesting.
and I was like, no, I'm clearly fine. Cheryl had never met the woman who died in El Dorado. She had, however, worked as a stripper for a Minneapolis-based company called Party Time, and she eventually determined that the dead woman had stolen her identification from her wallet while she was working on stage.
Damn.
The internet obviously existed in
Interesting.
1991, but search engines were barely a thing, and most of the world wasn't online yet. So Arkansas detectives had nothing to go on but witness testimony and the contents.
Nobody would rush to me if they got
found
that call.
menus from restaurants
I would rush to you, bro. Don't worry.
wasn't online yet. So Arkansas detectives
What YouTuber is this?
had nothing
Cadaver.
to go on but witness testimony and the contents of the dead woman's purse. They found menus from restaurants in Texas and Virginia. And there was a diary whose entries made references to people named Tyrone and Gail. There was also a Bible inscribed with the names of family members, several of whom had the last name Strode. Any of it could have been hers, and yet any of it could have been stolen. The people who knew the dead woman in Arkansas weren't much help. McAlpin called her Mercedes. The friend that she had moved in with, Andrea Kuski, told investigators that the woman had said that she worked as a stripper and that she had 2 kids that her mother was raising somewhere else. The dead woman had told Andrea that she and her mother didn't get along, but she told other people that she was in the FBI's witness protection program and that her father had been
FBI witness protection. What the fuck?
in the mafia, while other people in town had heard that she was connected to a string of bank robberies on the East Coast. She was 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed 162 pounds at her death. She had scars over her right eye and on the left side of her wrist. And to add even more mystery to this woman, she had a list of different names that she told
I don't
people
even know what's going on.
A list of different names that she told people.
was her own, including Cheryl Kaufman, Shannon Wiley, Sharon Wiley, Kelly Lee Carr, and Kelly Carr. Yet
Fuck.
none of those seemed to be her actual name. McAlpin's niece called the woman Auntie Cheryl and said that she was very sweet and kind-hearted. She also later said that she didn't
I'm
bother
finna
anybody
headshot
because
ass
she
with a snowball.
was
Broken heart.
kind-hearted. She also later said that she didn't bother anybody because she was kind of timid, and that it always seemed like she was running from something. The dead woman had definitely moved around. She'd been an exotic dancer in Dallas, Texas, and Little Rock, Arkansas, and potentially Minneapolis. She told people that she'd robbed
Yo,
truck
Minneapolis. Of course this shit's in fucking, like, why am I can't even be surprised. I can't be surprised in the slightest, Tia. This is your fucking hometown, buddy.
drivers at truck stops and said that she had actually killed one of them. She volunteered truck driver in potentially Minneapolis. She told people that she'd robbed truck drivers at truck stops and said that she had actually killed one of them. She volunteered at the Salvation Army in El Dorado, where she told another volunteer that she lived in a shelter in Dallas and that authorities had taken her child from her, a child that she'd never get back because she had been there under a false name.
That's fucked up. I'm not replaying shit from
Roll
the start.
replay the
Fuck
vid from
no.
the start.
However,
TT's
this could never be
confused.
verified since the shelter's records from that time had been destroyed. McAlpin pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. He served 13 to second-degree murder and had been destroyed. McAlpin pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. He served 13, and he even offered to tell investigators his victim's real name and story in exchange for $4,000. But he wasn't considered reliable, and no one took him up on his offer.
They should have just given him 4 bands and just took it back.
Move that I fully agree with, given his history. There wasn't much interest in the case after that. Whoever the woman in the Whitehall Motel had been, she lived a short, violent life, and it seemed like no one would miss her. With her killer already convicted, investigators didn't have much incentive to keep hunting for her name. We like to say that every human life matters,
That's fucked
but
up.
the murder in the Whitehall Motel was exactly the kind of death that is easy to sweep under the rug. Nobody would care or lose sleep at night if she'd entered eternity as the El Dorado Jane Doe. And then again, maybe they would. You see, in 2019, a woman in Alabama uploaded the results of her DNA test to GED Match, or GEDmatch. If you've never heard of GEDmatch, it's a website that actually allows people to compare their DNA profiles they get from a variety of DNA testing services like 23andMe or Ancestry. The original idea behind GEDmatch was to enable people to find relatives even if those relatives hadn't used the same DNA service.
That's just kind of cool, to be honest. But it's definitely a way to get yourself caught up if you ever committed like some crazy crime or some shit.
The site hit the news and made
Yeah, like the Golden State Killer, but that's how he was found. His fucking DNA test. Like, imagine you was like a fucking like infamous serial killer and you get caught lacking because someone in your family tree took a DNA test.
may sound familiar to some of you because it was actually used to build a family tree that identified a retired cop named Joseph D'Angelo, who would be known as the Golden State Killer. Since then, GEDmatch has become a go-to source for law enforcement when they are trying to identify the source of a DNA sample. Captain Catherine Phillips of the El Dorado Police Department was in charge of El Dorado Jane Doe's case for more than 10 years. But sometime in late 2018, someone suggested that she send the victim's DNA to a genealogist. The results from the genealogy test identified a woman living in Alabama as El Dorado Jane Doe's second cousin. And if you've got enough records, you can usually figure out which second cousin fell off the map in 1991. And in the summer of 2022, forensic analysis Yolanda McClary posted a short essay to her website, and the world found out a lot more than it was expecting about El Dorado Jane Doe.
Shit.
And that was that her name
What they find
was
out?
Kelly.
This story's everywhere.
VROEL, someone gotta be passing my Instagram. Some random opium wannabe douche who followed me.
Let me see, Tia. Send the page.
Her last name is actually still being withheld to protect her survivor. Name was Kelly. Her last Jane Doe. And that was that her name was Kelly.
Her name was
Her
Kelly?
last name is actually still being withheld to protect her surviving relatives, but what we know was that she was just 23 years old when she died.
Damn, rest in peace, bro. That's fucked up. Let me see. Man, who the fuck is this? Following. He's not following any mutuals other than you. And this nigga is not opium, bro. Yo, he's actually like an opium like meat sucker. Holy shit, bruh. Holy fuck. This nigga's actually like... Yo, I'm looking at it. Bro, he actually has like mad opium meat in his mouth. Like, imagine like him meeting everybody in opium and jacking them off all at once. Me having no idea what the fuck is happening. Bro, she just sent me a page of some dude that followed her. That's just a I don't even know how to describe Brody for real. It's an Asian opium. I've never seen an Asian opium motherfucker in my life. What the fuck? Asian opium. Yeah, that's like once in a lifetime for real. Bro, he got scared by a Shrek game. He just a meat rider to the max. Yeah, that's some like very elite glazing. So many Asians are opium? No, but there's not many Asians that are opium the way this nigga's opium. Josie. Like he got everything. Like think of the Cardi Destroy Lonely Kent Carson poses. Think of the scenery. Think of the fits. Should I follow back? Nah, don't follow back. Don't follow back. Teach him a lesson. Teach him a lesson. Bro, this guy hit with 9 ads. You gotta be trolling me, bro. Like niggas, bro, you're not the first, second, probably or third person that said they've gotten hit with 9 ads, but that's impossible. How 9 ads, bro? I have my ads on like the lowest option there is. There's a lot of Asians that do that. Nah.
She was born in Virginia in 1968 to a woman named Brenda.
Bro, listen to this.
Family and was married, but her husband.
Yeah, like there's obviously a lot of like opium motherfuckers, but like this is opium, bro. 9 ads, bro. Come on, what's going on, y'all? Bro, niggas is lying. No way y'all getting hit with 9 ads.
Brenda came from a wealthy family and was married, but her husband, who was in the military, wasn't Kelly's father. The couple separated in 1971 and divorced the following year. 2 months after the divorce was final, Brenda married Kelly's first stepfather.
2 months, yo. Imagine getting married 2 months after the divorce. You're a fucking slut.
Kelly, Brenda, and Kelly's little sister for 7 years.
Whoa. He did
2
what?
months after the divorce was final, Brenda married Kelly's first stepfather, who abused Kelly, Brenda, and Kelly's little sister for 7 years. That marriage ended in 1979.
7 years? How the fuck you're... Yo.
Brenda remarried again, and stepfather number 1 took his own life shortly after that wedding. Kelly was 11 years old when that occurred. From there, Brenda and the family bounced around the region. Brenda moved from man to man and picked up a drug habit. Kelly ended up dropping out of 10th grade and getting a job at 15, selling jewelry at a kiosk at the beach. Things were going great until Brenda stole all of the jewelry and the money, causing Kelly to lose her job.
Now why did mom sabotage her
The
like
family
that?
moved around a lot, mostly because everyone in the family was working, but Brenda never seemed to have money to pay rent. When she was 16 or 17, Kelly moved from Florida back to her home in Virginia to stay with her aunt. But that arrangement ended quickly when the aunt realized that Kelly was now using drugs as well. Kelly went back to Florida to take care of her mother,
that's
whose
sad.
resume now included writing bad
Only in
checks,
Florida, only
credit
in
card
Minnesota.
theft, grand larceny, and stealing a rental car.
Holy
About a year
fuck.
later, when Kelly was 18, she went to rehab and then moved to Texas to stay with a different aunt. When she arrived in Texas, she brought with her a suitcase full of provocative clothing. She began working as a dancer for some time, including before she'd been old enough to do something.
Bro, this story actually goes from coast to coast to coast to coast to coast.
That's why she stole Cheryl Ann looting before she'd been old enough to do so legally. That's why for some time, including before she'd been old enough.
She was a stripper before she was old enough to do it.
That's why she stole Cheryl Ann Wick's ID, to pass for an adult and to be able to work in a strip club. Between ages 19 and 20, Kelly lived in Little Rock, Arkansas, but family ties are hard to cut, and she ended up back in Florida again, this time with both her mother and her little sister. That lasted for only a few months. Brenda entered her young daughter into a bikini contest to make some extra cash, and the family broke up yet again. By 1990, Kelly was on the road once more in Norfolk, Virginia and Dallas, Texas. She started keeping menus from her favorite restaurants, places she visited that held happy memories for her, simply because she didn't have much
She didn't have
else.
many happy
And
memories.
of course,
That's
on
sad,
July
bro.
10th, 1991, at age 23, she ended up on the floor of the Whitehall Motel in El Dorado, Arkansas, the city that would give her her new name. Kelly's death wasn't the kind of case that made headlines. Hardly anyone was clamoring to know who the El Dorado Jane Doe was. She was just another sex worker, just another addict, just another nobody
Damn.
who couldn't shake a bad relationship.
That's sad as fuck, to be honest, because there's really like this is really a thing that happens. Like there are dead ass people out there that like can just get killed and not a single person will like even say anything. Like there are people out there that can just go missing and not a single person out there will even question that shit, bro. Nobody out there will be like, oh, like that's fucked. That's so fucked.
But look a little closer.
What's good,
and you'll
Maximus?
see
That well?
something very different. For all of the last 5 years of her life, Kelly was a child in a terrible situation which she had no hope of escaping. Her mother was an addict and a thief. The closest thing that she had to a father was a string of men who hurt her, left her, or both.
Yeah.
The other adults in her
Have you
life
heard if they
either
killed those or
failed
not? I haven't.
or refused to help her. She probably didn't have
At least
much
I
of a
don't
choice
think so.
about becoming an underage sex worker. Underage sex workers seldom do. Almost everything that she
Fucking
did
hell,
caused
her life
people to
was
look down on
shit.
her. What started as a means to survive ultimately led her down a path very few are able to crawl their way out of. And when she finally managed to escape, to flee the storm of chaos that her entire life so far had been, her flight took her right into the arms of the man who would kill her. She left behind a family who would spend 30 years wondering what happened to their little girl. The thing is, and I'm going off script here
That is
because
how.
honestly these stories really fill me with a lot of fucking anger. We as a society like to compare our situations to others, and we tell ourselves things such as, at least I'm not like such and such, at least I'm not like so and so. And I myself know several people like that, especially in the town that I grew up in. People who were given zero shot from birth, seen either as a tool or a means to get some type of free income. And it sickens me that human beings are able to treat their own children like that. And regardless, my rant isn't going to change the world, and once this video ends, for most, these words
She's
will
cheating.
quickly fade from memory.
She was just, she
But
just had
for
a very
those who
fucked
this
up life.
has resonated with, try to help someone if you see them struggling, because you never know. you may be in this exact same situation.
Damn,
People like to
bro.
talk about making choices. Good choices, bad choices, consequences for their choices. But when it comes down to it, what do you choose when all of your options are bad? Do you really even have a choice if you never had a chance?
Damn.
What happens when your choices run out?
Holy shit. Nah, W ending, like, with that fucking, that was a good transition, low-key. Yeah, that was fucking, holy shit. That was fucked up. I love how the courts heard that lawyer was threatening her husband's life and then gave custody of the kids over to her. Absolutely shameful. The justice system is so fucking cooked. Holy shit. I'm doing Japanese homework and I learned a new vocab word. To investigate. I'm gonna say I investigated the girls.